So, good morning, everybody. Nice to meet you here in Warsaw. I'm Adrian Bablok from EIT Manufacturing, and I welcome you to our Ukraine Cooperation Workshop. Actually, I, of course, greet the audience here, or greet the audience at home, at the PCs, at the online session. And really pleasure to have you here, actually. And we at EIT Manufacturing will present ourselves here. We will work with you. We have a nice agenda prepared, actually. We have some presentations, what project we are doing, how we are cooperating, and in the end, I want to make a workshop, which is sadly not available online, but we will do here on specific topics, how EIT Manufacturing as an organization can help Ukraine startups, Ukraine companies come into the European ecosystem, actually. And also how we can help you to, let's say, evolve further. We're cooperating with a lot of companies throughout all of Europe. We have dedicated hubs everywhere, and actually we are in Warsaw for one of the hubs. It's Piotr Lukasiewicz. And I'm maybe not the best person to present Piotr Lukasiewicz at all, but we have somebody here who can do that. It's Krzysztof Lipiec, the director of the commercialization department of Lukasiewicz Piap, and I would just ask him to the stage to join me, and maybe you can present some things and tell our audience what Piotr Lukasiewicz is all about.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning. Warm welcome at the premises of Lukasiewicz Piap, a research institute dealing mostly with robotics. I'm glad that we could have this meeting here with you present here in our institute, also with our guests online, because it's a special occasion. The times are turbulent, but we have to think forward. We have to think about what is gonna happen when we finally get over these very hard times. And it's time to start getting ready. We joined the network of EIT Manufacturing 3 years ago. We were followed by some of our good partners from our network. But I will not talk too much about EIT Manufacturing now, because there's a whole session about it today. My job is just to welcome you. So shortly about our institute. I said before that they are dealing mostly with robotics. So we were founded in 1965, and we started with manufacturing technologies. So introducing new modern technologies to manufacturing industry was our main goal, and we've been doing it ever since. So here you can see why EIT Manufacturing hub is situated in our institute. Second important thing about our existence is our international cooperation. We completed more than 100 international projects. We are present in framework programs of the European Union since the 3rd edition, I think, that's early 90s. So that's another reason why we decided to get involved with EIT Manufacturing. We think that international cooperation in research, in innovation, and general exchange of good practice, of good ideas, is the best way to move forward. And for that reason, for the last couple of years, we've been also playing a role of an integrator, a hub, a one-stop shop in many areas. So one of them is obviously EIT Manufacturing for manufacturing technologies, but we are also a digital innovation hub funded from Horizon 2020, where we've been dealing with robotics and inspection and maintenance technologies. This month, we are launching our European Digital Innovation Hub, which is much larger with the scope of many technologies, many markets. We are bringing together the biggest scientific institutions of Warsaw region, but also public institutions and private companies, all with the aim of helping companies to speed up their digital transformation. So to wrap up, because there are more interesting lectures and more details coming up in the agenda, manufacturing technologies, international cooperation, and hope for the better future very soon. That are my main points, what I wanted to share with you. And I'm, again, very glad that we can have this event right now. Thanks for being with us here. Thanks.
So, thank you, Christoph, for your nice welcoming words. And really, let's say I'm also the first time here for me at PIAP, and I'm really happy to be here. And we had already a nice, actually, session yesterday on Horizon for Poland, Horizon for Poland, let's say, talks. It was really interesting and amazing. And but without further ado, I would like to call the next speaker onto it, which we also partnered here. It's from the Ukraine Cluster Alliance for, let's say, from the Ukraine Automotive Mobility Cluster. It's Olga Torofimova, and we already partnered with her in Ukraine together with EIT Manufacturing to get the first outreach and to have a good contact point. And the communication works pretty well, and now I would like her to go onto the stage and just present the UCA for herself.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, first of all, I would like to say thank you to EIT Manufacturing. Thank you for Christian, for Adrian, for Laxmi. Thank you for your preparation work and really worked hard to invite all our people and engage them. And a lot of people would like to come, unfortunately, due to some our regulations and situation right now in Ukraine. It wasn't possible, you know, that it was 37 registered people, but unfortunately not all of them could come. But thank you so much that you have a translation of the event, and I'm sure we could find during this day we could find a lot of possibilities and opportunities for our organizations, for our companies, for our innovation organization and our innovation hubs to cooperate further and to be more integrated into European community. So I do understand that it's definitely not my presentation, I mean not my floor, and today not more about EIT Manufacturing and your projects and your programs, but still maybe some words about Ukrainian Cluster Alliance. Actually, the Cluster Alliance, the idea was in a year for some years, but exactly during the war when the war started. When the war started, the Cluster Alliance has begun, has arisen, and we have started to work from the beginning of March. And already on 24th of March, we had already kind of founding meeting with 16 clusters, and the Ukrainian Cluster Alliance was founded. So we have already membership and European Cluster Alliance, and we, from the beginning of the war, we are in a close cooperation with European Cluster Collaboration Platform, and in September we began to be a member of TCI network. Right now we do have already 48 clusters. So from 16 to 48 clusters, and I think that it's still growing. Yeah, so I have such a feeling, and moreover, there are maybe some new clusters organized in Ukraine. We do have new industrial parks, and because from August we have new law for industrial parks in Ukraine, and and we have a lot of supporting projects and programs for innovative companies, innovative organizations, and we really looking forward exactly for such a kind of growth. Some words, I know that no way to have too much time, but still we have different industries inside our Cluster Alliance. I think even industries also coming, newcomers are also in our clusters, but most of them, and this is the core of our cluster, it's of course engineering, automation, machinery, automotive and aerospace, maritime, so it's exactly the core of our cluster, and it's a lot of innovation companies and organizations are there. Well, we do have already strategy and export internationalization part of our cluster, and of course the most our services are here, and the biggest accent we also do on innovation and supporting our clusters and our organization in this field. We are very active in cross-cluster cooperation in Europe. From the beginning of the year, as I said, we have started to have new partnership, and right now we, every week we have new meetings with new clusters and trying to make this partnership between clusters and between SMEs, and of course with the accent of innovation. Thank you for EIT manufacturing. I would say it was not really planned, as many actions which we have right now, and during 8 months we really, we act a lot, and but we do understand that it's in a long-term strategy, and we understand that it was not really occasionally. But in the beginning of June, I was participating in Manufacturing Day in Vienna, and after that, thank you that we become partners for EIT manufacturing. Well, I think I will not stop too much on other things which are really work hard on supporting our companies, our SMEs on a short-term perspective. But I also should say that in our cluster alliance, there are already some winners for innovation projects, which happened exactly this year. In September, we participated in a European Cluster Conference, and we had a delegation for European Cluster Alliance, and actually from European Commission and DG GROW, we had some meetings, and in February we will have a cluster conference, Ukrainian Cluster Conference in Slovakia. It's also one of the big results which we didn't expect, actually. And it was very funny picture after my speech in a section dedicated to Ukraine, and main messages which we would like to share with the whole world. That we definitely have really big potential and really big capacity and competence in R&D and innovation, and we definitely would like to be partners for Europe, and not just trying to. And of course the question that definitely industry from 4.0 or should go to 5.0 and be more human-centric, sustainable and resilient. This is also our message which we share with the whole world. Actually, we also participated, and it's still under decision, as I understood, until the next month, this European Innovation Council and European and Ukrainian Cluster Alliance and APAO participated in this call. We still hope that we will win this call. And in this case, as you see, it's 20 million euro, and there will be a lot of support for Ukrainian startups. But again, we had also a lot of meetings, conference, and in this case, even bilateral agenda in advanced manufacturing with Czech Republic. And of course, we are working further with other countries and other companies. So Ukrainian landscape industry, as you see, not so small, and there is also, I would like to present Olena Sadoma. She's responsible for internationalization of APAO, and she could give you much more information about it. And we also develop some our answers to national programs, our proposals for advanced manufacturing for international partners concerning and according to the national programs of Ukraine recovery. Well, again, we do have also our matchmaking platform for our innovators, for our engineers, which are also open to cooperate. We really have quite big human capital in Ukraine, which is quite high educated, and and as you see, 70% have high education. And concerning Ukrainian recovery, there is a big part for recovery of Ukrainian manufacture, and of course with the accent and on a frame and with the strategy to European strategy as green transition, yes, and digitalization, and of course resilience. Well, during these 8 months we really had big journey and really good partners, and we are growing and definitely would like to be also more focused in our further steps and to be your reliable partners for future. So thank you so much for your attention and looking forward for the next steps of our fruitful cooperation. Thank you.
So that were the words from the UCA. Olga, thank you very much for a nice presentation. I really enjoy working with you, actually. This is always a pleasure, actually, because you always deliver what you promise, and that's a really good example, actually, to how a corporation should work. And we heard now a lot about EIT manufacturing already from collaboration partners. Now I would like to call Christian Böllig onto the stage. He is the Managing Director at the CLC Central location in Darmstadt, and he will present what we really are, what we do, and let's give him the floor and ready to present EIT manufacturing for everybody of you.
Thank you very much, Adrian, and also warm welcome from my side. As I said, my name is Christian Böllig. I'm the director of the Co-location Center Central in Germany. That is also responsible for all our hopefully upcoming activities with the Ukraine. I'm taking also would like to take the chance to briefly explain what EIT manufacturing is about, and also how we work and what our focus topics are. Maybe in some words in the beginning. I mean, for us, it's also now a phase of experiencing what can be done, what is needed. We need to find out how does our programs match with what Ukrainian stakeholders need right now, what is possible to do. So therefore, we are really appreciate your input. Yeah, what can be done, what is needed, and that's also for us was the reason to really speed up with the collaboration on the Ukrainian Cluster Alliance, because that provides us with an opportunity to get feedback from many different sectors. You saw automotive, machinery, aerospace, that are sectors we are covering today with our partner network, and so therefore we have all the opportunities. Textile fashion, there's a new EIT knowledge and innovation community on culture and creativity, and they are very much focused also on fashion. So that means there we are also talking about collaboration with them, which may also be an opportunity to collaborate. So therefore, it's really for us also important to know what are your needs, how can we support that, and then we need to implement our activities together with you. So EIT is the abbreviation for European Institute of Innovation and Technology, and we are not the only innovation community. You see several of them on different topics. We are the one for manufacturing. We are now in the third year of operations. There are some years to go with the funding from EIT manufacturing. And already today we have a strong community across Europe, having 85 core partners and in total roughly 300 organizations involved in our activities. So that means only in 3 years we could reach already a huge number of organizations being active in manufacturing. And how do we work? So in general, we have we have plenty of activities. Yeah, and I don't have the time to go all in all details. My colleagues will, let's say, step into some of our programs in the coming presentations. But altogether, you could always say, okay, we have a knowledge triangle that focuses on innovation to the market. So we are really interested to bring innovation to the market, supporting that last steps from research to marketable product. We are supporting that in different ways. So we are building consortia, or we are supporting the building of consortia between industry, academia, research, To promote this innovation, we are supporting startup scale-ups with our business creation team. And what we also offer is education to really also train people in that new technologies and that developments, that they're able to assess what can be used in production and also be able to manage that new systems, new technologies. And there's a fourth activity, so-called Regional Innovation Scheme. And as we know, I mean, competing with well-established Western European organizations, that is for some countries, for some sectors challenging. Therefore, we have a dedicated program that has restrictions when it comes to participation and is really focusing to transfer to innovate in those countries that need to, let's say, increase, yeah, with the aim that they get to the level than other countries like Germany. So therefore we have this budget, yeah, that has a special focus on that areas, and we will learn about that later on. So some key facts. As always in Europe, we are organized as a public-private partnership. In total, we will receive funding for 14 years, so that means 11 years left. Next to the hub in Darmstadt, Germany, you see we have another 6 locations, which is also our strength. So we are not focused, we are not only working from one location. We have right now 7 locations, our headquarters in Paris. Next to that, Gothenburg, Vienna, Milano, San Sebastian, Essen. So we are really covering abroad the whole of Europe, also with our co-location centers. We also have invested into digital platforms, and that may be also in the current situation something which may be useful. So we have our skills, our learning platform, skills.move, which can be accessed, and we have our innovation platform, Agora, yeah, that also is open to everyone. So you see there, you can register. There are opportunities you can already have a look at and look what may be of interest in that areas. So a brief look on our partner network. This is only our core partner network. We also, as I said, next to that we have more than 200 organizations we are collaborating with. And you see that it's industry driven. So half of the partnership is consisting of industry, and that's important because we really need to know what industry needs are, and then we need to match that with the right-hand side, universities, RTOs, offers, developments, and bring really the innovation to the market in manufacturing. Next to that, we have our startup community, and you see a lot of startups we are working with, and I'm quite optimistic that beginning of next year we can add a logo there for the first Ukrainian startup. We are currently in negotiations, so they are progressing well. It really fits thematically to manufacturing, and I'm quite optimistic that we can add them beginning of next year under our support funnel. Yeah. Next to that, we are also building an ecosystem, or we have built an ecosystem in the past years. So starting on the European level with with EFRA, the European Factories of the Future Association, so more the research-oriented activities in Horizon Europe, with the machine tool industry, with the Data Space Association, GaiaX, and then with a lot of local initiatives. You see the Ukrainian Cluster Alliance, but you also see from Germany, Belgium, Ireland, organizations that bring together industry, academia, and with them we are collaborating to build a network of networks that really involves as many organizations as possible in our activities. And then next to that, we are of course present in various events regarding venture, regarding industry. So that's also where we take part and promote our activities, promote our startups we support, and so on. And when it comes to industry, I mean, there are usually more short-term or long-term needs. So how do we work with industry? So in general, first we need to know what are their needs. So that means we need to talk to each other, yeah, and we are doing that regularly with our industry members. And then we need to find out, okay, what is really short term? Yeah, where do they need a solution within some months? Yeah, and they don't want to wait for funding. So that means it's really a matching between the need and a solution provider, which also, especially in the new technologies, is very often a startup that brings that new technology to the market. We have then also competitions that bridge this gap between corporates and startups, and there we also award smaller prizes. You see 30,000, 50,000 euro, which is really meant to be used for POC, so a pilot implementation. Then we have our own funding schemes, 1 to 2 million, really focusing from prototype to product. And we also have started to build consortia on the European, also on the large-scale projects, which meant to be research that provides us the opportunity to get involved already in earlier stages as EIT Manufacturing, identify with our partner network the needs, and then react on that and build the right consortia to develop technologies to the market. So for our own funding schemes, we are really looking on, as I said, prototype to product. Our projects are also, compared to other schemes, quite short, 1 to 2 years. We only expect 3 to 5 partners, especially industry is a must-have in the projects. We also expect that someone is really the business owner of the development, really have an interest to commercialize. Our projects also, if you are somehow have seen your Horizon Europe projects, they have a very, let's say, strict structure, how it has to look like. They have a special language and everything. In our case, it's really, let's say, meant or designed for industry. So we don't want to know what has been achieved in terms of publications and papers. We are interested in, okay, what is the current stage? So please justify that this is a prototype working. What is the USP? What are the competitors? Why is your solution better than existing solutions on the market? What's the business model behind you have in mind for the commercialization? So that's what we are interested in, and we are not that much focused on what has been done in the research area and how many papers have been submitted. So this is really a difference compared to more research-oriented funding schemes. And as I said, so also to come to a conclusion, we have our open innovation and networking platform, Agora. You find the link there. So you can register already today. It's open for everyone, so have a look at that. There also you find information on newest technologies. We also always have the call for proposal process that comes up beginning of next year on our Agora platform, so that you can connect to other stakeholders to discuss potential proposals. So this is an opportunity you can use already today, right now. And to finish also with the topic of education, so what we are doing there is really starting from pupil society, presenting, okay, what's manufacturing about today? It's not this dirty environment anymore. We need high qualified, trained people in IT, in automation and other areas. And this is what we would like to, what we transport there as a message. We have then master PhD programs for students, and we have with our online learning platform and other instruments like teaching learning factories, we have instruments to train and qualify workforce for new technologies. So this is what we are doing, and of course there are a lot of activities below. I don't have the time now to go in all the details. We can, if there's interest, discuss later on, of course. Yeah, and that's for the time being the short overview on what EIT Manufacturing is about, and my colleagues will step in a bit more in detail in the coming hour. And if there's any question left. So we are there now during the day to answer everything, and hopefully you will also get an impression what EIT manufacturing is about. So thank you very much for the time being, and I'm handing over back to Adrian. Thank you.
So thank you very much Christian for the presentation of EIT manufacturing. I hope everybody got a, let's say, first nice view of what we are doing. I know it's a lot to digest. There's a lot of different topics we are addressing in innovation, in education, in business creation. What we prepared now for you is actually, as we're really trying not to just give a brief overview, but also talk a little bit about the projects we do. Christian already mentioned it. We have a RIS initiative, and today we have Loris Valero Leconte with us. He is RIS Hub Manager, and I would like to give the stage to him and just let him present what he's going to do and what we are doing and how the possibilities maybe for Ukraine can be in the best way. Loris, please come.
Okay, so hello everybody, I hope you can hear me properly. So I am Loris Valero Leconte and I'm working for EIT Manufacturing for the RIS programs. I'm a RIS Hubs manager, and today I'm presenting you the EIT Jumpstarter, which is initially a program managed by my colleague Veronica Rodriguez. So I'm presenting it on her behalf. So what is EIT Jumpstarter? Oops, the other side. So the EIT Jumpstarter is a pan-European pre-accelerator program, and it has been opened for 5 years for all the RIS countries, so the countries that are considered moderate or emerging innovators in Europe. We decided recently to open a new edition specifically for Ukrainian innovators who joined the EU due to the recent events. And this program actually reached 555 European deep tech startup teams and offer to them the best class trainers and mentors to ensure the standard quality on the program. And this program actually won already 2 European awards for excellence. So it is a unique collaboration of 6 key community between EIT Health, EIT Food, EIT InnoEnergy, Raw Material Manufacturing and Urban Mobility. And it's really a cooperation and so a cross-kick program where we all work together to create this competition. So the purpose of this program is to create a curriculum built on the lean startup, but translated to specific industrial needs. So it's about setting and validating his assumptions, deal with them, create the market segmentation, create a proper customer value proposition, also provide with competitive advantage, finalize with the product, and finally create the finance and how to create the revenue. The purpose for us with this is to help the startups to develop themselves and to really enter into the market of Europe with the best idea and all the knowledge to really develop your startup, really develop your company. So, how is the journey for this round of the pre-accelerator Jumpstarter? So the applications are still open until the 28th of November, so you still have 5 days to do so. And basically the applications will be done online. So once it is done, a jury of evaluators will select 15 teams. We currently have already more than 130 applications, so if you are interested, please apply and join us. It's really a great opportunity for the development of your company. And in January and February, the 15 teams that have been selected will join online bootcamps that are managed now by our partners Inestek from Portugal and Tartu University in Estonia, who will provide you all the skills, all the informations, not only about technological innovation, but also when it comes to business, marketing, finance, budgeting. And those online bootcamps will last around 15 hours. So the focus will be a pitch deck and identification of the areas of further development. And the purpose is to deliver the fundamental qualitative and quantitative skills of developing a business. Then, after those 15 hours of online boot camps, 5 hours will be individual mentoring for each of the teams that join the program. And then, finally, in March, between February and March, it will be the grand final, which will also be online, with a pitch contest where you will present your final product, your final idea, and potentially win the grand prize of 7,500 euros. So, by joining us and by joining the EIT Jumpstarter, you will get specific training and mentoring from the best in-class mentors, as I said, Tartu University and Inestek. Cross-sectoral validation, grants to cover your travel and accommodations that are around 2,000 euros per selected teams. An exposition to all the KICS network, which is one of the biggest networks in innovation in Europe. Super tools to create and validate your business model. And as I said, a chance to win the final prize of 7,500 euros. The second prize is about 5,500, and the third prize is 3,500, just to let you know. So take the chance and take a shot. So those are the numbers from EIT Jumpstarter in 2021. So it was the 5th edition program, so you will be the 6th. And we had 548 applications and 220 teams trained. For this year and for this specific program about Ukraine, EIT Manufacturing can select 11 teams. As I said, take the opportunity to join us, to join the network, and have access to all the opportunities we can provide. So this is a list of many startups that participated to the programs in the past. One of them, for example, Hub Catalyst, is still working with Tartu University and with the Hub EIT Manufacturing, And so their development is currently in a good process. So, yes. So, check your eligibility, of course. So, do you have Ukrainian citizenship? And do you have a cross-sectorial, deep tech, or industry idea solution? Then you are eligible. You can also join us even if your company is not registered. We can help you with that. So this program is actually open to all, so it can be researchers, master and PhD students, research people from the research centers, professional entrepreneurs or idea owners who would like to develop their innovative idea into business ideas. So you can fill out the application form online, so you will need to prepare yourself, of course. So on the website, there will be the terms and conditions, so don't forget to really be precise in what ideas you are bringing and what sector you are applying your innovation to, and be careful with reading the questions. So then, online, it will be done online, so prepare everything in advance. Read everything, reformulate everything if necessary before the submission, and be really careful about one thing is to use English, but UK English and not use US English. That's actually really important. And make sure that your application is done between the 28th of November. So, once again, join us. EIT Manufacturing is here to help you. We can give you the keys to create your own business and for its development. So thank you for your attention, and thanks a lot for Piap and Lukaczewicz for organizing this important event and for the invitation. Thank you for your attention.
So, Loris, thank you for being here. Just stay 2 minutes more maybe on the stage with me.
I can stay even more longer if you want.
Yeah, stay more longer. Some time for us, so that's a good thing to hear. Actually, I was just wondering if you have for the EIT Jumpstarter just some questions from the audience, or I don't know if the online present want to ask something, just type it in chat. We are going to answer, of course. I don't know. Do we have a question after the audience? Because I have my questions prepared, yeah? Or if I came just up, but if you have something, I would, of course, go first with you. So I don't see any questions right now, but maybe just from me, you said you have to use UK English. Why is that?
Well, because most of the countries of the European Union actually use the English, UK English, I would say. And despite Brexit, even if English is no longer an official language in the European Union, it's still the most commonly used. And it was actually the one used before the Brexit. So we kept that going. So basically, if you would like to write program in your application, please write it with 2 M and an E and not only an M, because that's American.
Okay, so there is nothing like, let's say, AI in the background checking for let's say, keywords, or do you use some tools in a, let's say, evaluation process?
Let's say that we received so many applications and so many great ideas that since we have only 11 applications that will be selected out of more than 100, the evaluators and the jury might be a bit picky, and so it might play on this, English that will make the tiny details. So it's really about paying attention to the details, and we know how important it is in innovation. So this is basically a reason why, one of the main reasons why.
So actually you say there's a lot of applications, and
yes,
we have to be, let's say, firm on the regulars.
And it's really about, showing you how much you pay attention to what you do. And this innovation, it shows how invested you are.
Okay.
So it's a recommendation.
So if anybody has, of course, question while applying for it, are you the best, let's say, person to speak to, or are there some contact points when somebody needs help with application?
Yes, of course. Actually, can I go back to the presentation, perhaps? So the first 2 slides. Yes, it's coming back. So actually, already on the website, you have the guidelines that you can follow and get all the information on. And we also have one person, as I said, my colleague Veronica Rodriguez, who's actually in charge of the Jumpstarter that you can contact. So yes, yeah. So let's go to the last slide. Okay, so up. Okay, so you have the application here, apply.eitjumpstarter.eu. And here you have the email address of my colleague, Veronica Rodriguez, that you can contact to get more information, or if you have specific question regarding the program, she will have more knowledge to help you out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you
for your presentation. Thank you for being here with us and your time, and also, let's say, for being part of the workshop, also leading all of the workshops later. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Well, thank you for your attention, and thank you for the invitation.
Yeah. So we heard right now a lot about, let's say, what EIT can give you, or what programs we have. One project a little bit more in detail, actually the EIT Jumpstart program. But we don't want just to speak about ourselves. We also have somebody else invited here today. It's Meji Mejdrohova. I hope I speak it correctly, from RobotTwin. It's actually a startup that is supported by us. They have actually a great, let's say, past with us already. I think they just won some of the awards we presented to them, and I'm really happy to have her here. Sadly, not in person. She's just, let's say, she could not travel to Warsaw at this time around, so she's going to present online. And just for my question, I don't know if Meji is already aware and can hear me.
Yep. Hello, I can hear you. Happy to be here.
Hi, Meji. Nice to see you. And I would say, just say what is your experience with EIT manufacturing, and how did you, let's say, how did it work with you as a startup? The floor is yours.
Sure. Thank you very much. I prepared a presentation I'd like to share with you, just that we have a better chance to get to know our story. Can you confirm you can see the presentation?
So yes, you can see the presentation, so feel free to start.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So welcome from my side. My name is Maggie, and I'm representing the company RobotWin, which was heavily supported by the EIT. And I hope that my presentation will motivate you to take part in the EIT programs, because it can help you at least same way it really did help to us. So first, I would like to start with introducing what we are doing, and then talk more about our experience with the EIT. So we are a young startup. We are based in Czech Republic, and we are focusing on manufacturing. So in the topics of EIT, we are part of the EIT manufacturing. And what we are doing is trying to help manufacturing to not be reliant on human workforce anymore. And we are trying to save people from doing repetitive, unhealthy manual jobs, which, as you can see in the picture, is, for example, a spray painting. So the idea came to us from the industry itself. They reached out to me when I was a university student, and it happened to be my master thesis to finding a solution for this problem. And the solution which I designed in the thesis, it's based on motion imitating. So the idea is that the workers who work in the factories and doing the manual repetitive jobs will have our device that would track their motion when they are working in the factory. Our software would process the recorded data and then generate the program for the robot automatically, so that we can automate their job without actual need for programming the robots by hand. We are the first one to digitize employees' know-how in such a way, and it can bring many benefits. On the video, you can see the testing of our prototype in a real production. And the benefits I just summed up on the slide. So we don't need programmers to program robots anymore, because we do it automatically. We are transforming routine manual jobs into collaborative automation. That way we can reduce safety and health hazards, because the people don't need to work in the ugly environments any longer. The solution is very scalable, because one worker can teach many robots at the same time. We can handle even very complex tasks, and we are fast and accurate, which means that we save time and resources. And here I'm on the slide where I would really like to emphasize how EIT helped us on the journey. So as I said before, the idea was first presented in my master thesis. And then with the idea, we actually joined the EIT Jumpstarter in the year 2021. We really came with a prototype validated, but not more than that. Like, we didn't have a company before. I studied engineering, so I had very little knowledge about business development, actually, and these topics. But with these settings, we entered the EIT Jumpstarter, and it really, really made a big difference for us, because we attended all the trainings. We learned the basics, how you can actually validate your idea, how you can scale to something what is actually a business, how you can talk to customers, how you can propose the value for them, how to prepare your financials. We went through all that. We learned how to prepare a pitch. We went to grand finals. We were successful. And it was actually the motivation for us to found the company eventually. But we didn't win only the grand finals. We won the presence in the network of EIT. And it is super valuable for us, because after the Jumpstarter, we were still in contact and we were invited to other events. So, for example, we were invited to the open call for proposals for 2023, which is also managed by EIT Manufacturing. And it is a call for projects which have high level of innovation. And the call can give you funding for 1 year to actually finish your development from the prototype phase until a real product launched on the market. And we were super lucky to be invited to this call. We built a consortium, and next year we will be developing our product with the help of this funding. Also, thing to mention, the consortium we built contains some partners such as Czech University in Prague or Cefril, which is an Italian company. And we wouldn't make the partnership with these companies without EIT Manufacturing, because these two are actually members of the EIT Manufacturing. So we were presented a list of members which we could contact and which were willing to go with us into the project, which was super great, because we didn't get really only the financial support, but we even get the resources support with these two companies or like institutions helping us with the development. Another event we were invited and we took part in was the Discover Vienna, which was a sub-event in a big startup festival in Vienna this summer. And we competed in a booster competition, which was also super great because we met other startups, we made contacts.
Эту входит в такое сверло момент. Вот это что здесь, наверное, нет, мне кажется. Ну, посмотрите.
Hearing some noise in the background. I hope you still can hear me.
Speaking on the Zoom, so just maybe
Да ничего,
you mute
это же
yourself,
Warsaw.
or can
Да.
Yeah.
sorry, but somebody can speak Ukrainian. Sorry, I could just try Polish, but I don't think this will be understandable. It's okay.
Yeah, it's a
So,
age of virtual meetings. It's tough. I see. Anyway, yeah, a lot of opportunities for us, a lot of steps on our journey which actually were affected by EIT, and I can only recommend going into the partnership with EIT because it's really opening a lot of possibilities, and it's opening the network, and was super valuable for us, and I really hope it can be valuable for you as well. I would like to also invite you, if you have any questions on like our personal experience with the programs, don't hesitate to contact me. You can reach me afterwards. I would be more than happy to share our experience.
Yeah, Meji, thank you very much for your presentation. I really always like to see how let's say we also make something that makes startups happy actually, and that helps you to set up your company. I don't know, do we have some questions out of the audience, or I think I saw some text being typed into the Zoom meeting, but I just cannot see it right now. So if you want to ask a question when you're in Zoom, you can maybe just unmute you and just try to speak. If not, maybe just a question from my part. What is it? You were talking a lot about what it is that we do. What is? And you said the main point that you could learn from us was the business creation part. How did it work? How was your experience with contacting us, or what was the main parts we helped you with?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so as I said, we were in the EIT Jumpstarter, and part of the EIT Jumpstarter are also hours booked only for you and one mentor from EIT. And we were super lucky because our mentor is like really, really great person, and they went with us through like our specific needs. So we were like, we have this product, but we don't know how to contact customers. And they helped us with the market research. And then we were like, okay, but we don't know how to set up the price. And they helped us with the value proposition. And they really made the effort to help like with our concrete problems or questions. And that's amazing. And actually, like in summer, we went into more deep collaboration with them. And we even like send them our documents, like our business plan, our profit and loss table, and they are reviewing that and they are giving us feedbacks, which is super valuable. Okay,
so if there's one question out of the audience, maybe RSU Ukraine, RSU Space, can I think we can hear you. Can you try to speak again? I think the connection is a little bit bad on our side, maybe, but. Or maybe you can try typing it into the chat, actually. You're still on mute, actually. Maybe you could just, if you really want to take the question, to unmute yourself and then. Okay. Then let's give maybe to just 30 seconds to type the question. So Maggie, where are you based? You're based in the Czech Republic, right? You're also sitting there. So
yeah, we are based in Prague.
You're based in Prague. Very good. Yeah, sadly, sad that you could not join in Warsaw actually today. So it was like I was really wondering. I would really like to see you now because also I really valid your let's say your idea and your company in itself. And maybe just another maybe topic-wise question is you thought about this you're teaching a robotic arm by using an exoskeleton actually, and how many repeats do you need to really let's say get this done correctly, or is it just a one time and it works forever, or do you need some repeating on doing that?
Yeah, so the difference we make on the automation is that we really emphasize the skills and the professionality of the workers, and we include them in the process. So we actually give them the whole responsibility for teaching the robot. And if we say that they are professionals, and they are, then it's enough for them to record the trajectory once, and the robot is good to go. So we don't try to optimize for the best of all possible solutions, but we really say, okay, the worker knows the best his job, so let's take his or her template and use it for the robot. So actually the process is very, very fast, because if the worker records it once and he or she is happy with how it looks, it can be in the robot in like a matter of minutes.
Okay. Thank you very much. I don't know, did we get another question from the audience or no? I think I didn't see it. Okay. I think he's asking for the LinkedIn URL for you.
Yeah, okay, I'll be more than happy to put it in the chat.
Yeah. And maybe you can just do that. And then I would say thank you very much for your time, Maggie. I hope for, let's say, further fruitful collaboration with us in the future. Really looking forward to that. And I think there are some, I'm happy that there will be some other things in preparation. I'm sure of it. And have a nice day for now. And I would like to go to the next topic. Actually, what is the presentation? Which I myself will be held actually, because it's a little bit kind of an impulse talk I wanted to give before starting into the workshops. We now heard about what is EIT manufacturing, we heard the startup, how it is to work with us. We have also a lot of innovation projects, but not just with EIT manufacturing and in the, let's say, manufacturing scope. But as you heard with the EIT Jumpstarter, it's cross-sectoral. We have also cross-sectoral programs. And there is another one I would like to process, or let's say one project I would like to talk with you about, because it's really impactful and it's a really nice story in itself. But first, what the project, let's say that I'm personally actually also leading, is about, we could say innovation to and with AI, but it's more about creating test beds. So creating a tangible environment to process or to implement new solution, if it is on automation, if it's on digitalization, if it's on 5G, IoT systems, and so on, in an environment that is as near at production level as possible. Yeah, so because implementing such solutions directly in the production line is mostly impacting too much on the producer. Yeah, because you have your time frames, you have your orders, you have to deliver everything you want to do, and this is making it a little bit, let's say, challenging to try something out. So what we are going to do in this project, we are building up dedicated test beds, also test center or pilot lines, where we can then try out these new solutions and push it forward, being as near, like I said, in the production as possible. We had this is, let's say, a 2-year approach already. We had it 2021 and 2022 with a total funding of 5 million. Yeah, so what would you give out to a consortium? In this, let's say, initiative, we partnered up with EIT Food, EIT Digital, and EIT Raw Materials. So we are really bringing the whole ecosystem together, not just the manufacturing ecosystem, which is, I think, an impactful part. As you are not just concentrating on one point in the, let's say, that in the manufacturing line or the manufacturing cycle, how you want to call it, but you're trying to reach out to different, let's say, points. And we had here actually, let's say, like I say, we are building up 4 projects right now. One is the SAIF project. It's just shortly, not going into details, it's a decentralized AI. So we have a camel solution into your shop floor, and it discerns if human moves or if, let's say, a forklift is driving, and they can assess first they're assessing where this person will go or where it's standing and where the forklift is going, and they're sending information to the forklift to say him, please drive slower or keep out, let's say, please stop because people are in your vicinity, because a forklift driver cannot see behind machines. And with this technology, it is actually possible. So it's a solely visually based sensory system for all of the factory, making it possible to see each person in the factory. Of course, not just one camera, but you have different angles, and that's then calculated and sent to the forklift driver. iFishCan I will present shortly, but for now I would like the T-Food project. The T-Food project is based actually in Greece. It's about the dairy manufacturing system or the dairy factory. And we had 2 points we did here. One is a robotic arm that is making the logistics at the end of the production. So sorting different dairy products onto one pallet automatically with a visual AI implemented. And the other one is a sensor system that was implemented into the milk tanks, so that the milk is tracked from, let's say, when it's taken out of the, let's say, when the cow's milked and it's taken into the first tank, it is all time, let's say, we're watched over. Sorry about that. There are sensors included on temperature, on time, of course, and then you have a little bit on assessment what happens to the milk as well. And one of the, let's say, biggest impact points is really the temperature, because when the milk falls below temperature, it's of course cooled down, and then you can assess, okay, is the cooling working properly? Is the steering working properly? Because the milk cannot be just, let's say, led without steering into the tanks, because then at the edges this would, let's say, rot a little bit. So you have to keep a watch out for that. And with that, you have then a sensory system already in place at the farmers, at small farmers with the first tank, till before it gets, let's say, delivered to the dairy company that is then processing some products out of it. And one that we're building, and let's say the next one I want to present a little bit more, it's iFishCan. It's a really nice story if you think about it. This is just, let's say, a summary page. We try to concentrate on food loss and waste operations here. Yeah? So it was like really, we made also a call where a consortium could be built up. And this one is actually from Portugal and Spain, with a company being in the lead here, which is where the solution is tested and where also the testbed is implemented. And you can go to and watch it. It's a Finnice company. They are doing fish cans, really special ones. So it's a gourmet fish can in the end. Sometimes they even sell the 40-year-old fish cans in it all. But what is really interesting about this is they have a little bit of problems, of course, with energy consumption, with water consumption, with contamination of the product in itself, because we're here in the food industry. And we wanted to find out, okay, how can they get better? How can they save some of the energy? How can they save some of the water actually produced here? used here for all the processes in itself. And coming back to the company itself, Nice is a real manufacturer. Yeah, so what I see a real manufacturer, and what I mean with that is there are still people sitting, 30 women actually, which is totally crazy when you're going to visit there. You can make also a factory tour, which I also did. And there women were sitting, they're cutting cucumber by hand. They are taking the fish out by hand. They are filling the cans by hand, because the processes to automate this are for them, on the one hand, they don't want to do it. On the other hand, it's also very tricky, because before the fish is put into the can, it is already cooked. So it's really soft. So you cannot really, let's say, take a robot to grab it and put it into the can. This is not possible at all. So this is why it's done by hand, by actually women sitting there. And you can maybe imagine how it's how challenging it is to come to a company like that and try to implement a system that will track water consumption, that will track energy consumption. Yeah, because of course there's a lot of water needed. And for example, in the middle thing you see this big basin that's normally filled with water, where the woman take a basket full of fish, put it down into water and pull it out again to clean the fish after taking it out. And this was automated, but they're not happy with that. And this is like, you're thinking the woman this is really hard work, because the basket is not easy. When it's filled with fish, it's 25 kilo or something like this. And you put it down in the water and pull it up again. This is impactful on the back. And we wanted to automate it. And now we're tracking the water consumption of that, the energy consumption of that, to compare it to what the workers can do. And what really is interesting here is that you have a company like that, and they're still try to do something. Yeah, we could convince them together with our partners to go a little bit forward, to start with digitalization, to start the transformation. In the end, we tried to make a real-time detection of events where some losses occur, trying to make a generative, let's say, model to predict and perceptive action plan to avoid these losses, and in the end, control their eventual impact on that. Of course, it has to be as simple as possible. We are here in a really not digitalized company, so it has to be simple solution. It has to be created. We had to create a digital infrastructure, yeah, controlling the food loss and water energy, integrate some data acquisition in it, and prompt and correct improve this to, let's say, actions to reduce the food loss and improve the sustainability in itself. How did we do it? Actually, we just implemented some sensors in all the steps we had, where we collect data. This data is then fed over the IoT, which was implemented into a manufacturing execution system, where you can just visualize that. So you have to imagine they're always walking around with paper, taking notes on the production steps, because this is what you have to do when you're in the food production cycle. Yeah. And this was all, let's say, digitalized and is going to be fed into, let's say, first the dashboard and an AI predictive model in the background. And this AI predictive model is the interesting thing for us, yeah, because we are being fed data from a company really working normally with manufacturers or with real workers. And they're really that far now that we have a predictive model. It is up and ready, and I could go into a lot of details about that, but I will not. I think my time is running out some shortly. But let's say about that. This all data is, let's say, in a specific way included into a model, and this model allows, after of course a neural network which was included and a specific thing that I'll not go into detail as well. Allows to assess how a change in production or a change of some of technologies used will impact, on one hand, the production itself, the energy consumed, the water consumed, and the total cost, and not just now, but over time. Also including some, let's say, key factors for heightened energy prices, for heightened water prices, which will be an impact in the future. And in the end, each, let's say, innovation you make in this company now can be assessed beforehand, can be planned because they have a monthly changing production cycle. And you can really assess what will happen in the end with this model. And this is working. I think we have good examples here for now. It was implemented last year, ending this March 2023. And we are really looking forward for, let's say, the next years. As you know, it's an AI model. It needs a little bit of data to run. Each month is different. So we are really ramping that up right now. And I can just invite you to take a look at that. It's in Porto. If you are everywhere, you can book just a factory tour and see what we are doing there, or let's say, see how Pineyes works in its own. And with that, I could go a little bit into what we are doing this way, let's say this year. It's just running till end of the year, actually. It's a totally different topic. And as you see, when I talk about we are cross-sector, we are cross-sector because this was food manufacturing, or let's say food production. This is something completely digital. This is automotive sector. This is, let's say, the evaluation of recycled e-motor parts, which we have here in that card. So just shortly to wrap this up, because I cannot go into detail, but it's a really interesting project. We are taking magnets, recycling them, putting them back into the magnet, and then making an assumption how this magnets influence the efficiency of the motor. And this is a virtual test bed. This is we have a test rig built up in Torino, at the Politecnico di Torino, and working with Santa Reply, with SIM 4.0 and Dijke and Magneti from Slovenia, actually, which is one of the only companies that can really reset everything. And if you want to know more about that, please come to me. So, and are there any questions for now? And if you just allow me to step just out, I just get some information right now. So, just informed that the next speaker is a little bit late for now, or let's say not. I'm not late enough for her, to be honest. So, do you have any questions right now for anything from out of the audience or from anything else? If not, I can share some of the more details about the eDrive e-motor VTB testbed, actually, because this is also one of, let's say, a really interesting projects. So, if you have any questions right now, then let me just get a little bit more into, let's say, the topic here. What we did here is really taking, like I said, magnets out of used motors. They are scrapped down differently because nobody is, let's say, taking really care about the magnets, how good the quality is about that. Even we had to fight in the project about this because we bought some magnets to be recycled, but the quality was not that we wanted to have. Yeah, so a different, the magnets that we wanted to recycle had a different metallurgy structure, which was maybe not what we were looking for, but okay, we said, okay, we're trying to recycle here magnets, so this will happen all the time. So what we did is, we just tried, we break it down, build them up again. It's a sinter technology in behind. And this is now, let's say, sent back to the Politecnico di Torino, where we have this test rig set up. And with that, it's actually pretty easy for us to say, okay, how will be the influence of these new magnets? Very characterized, of course, in before. And we have an online platform where you can make all the calculations in the end. But this is just the last thing we can do. What we need to do is to take each magnet, test them in a test rig, and feed our platform with information. The platform is being built up right now. It's already online at the, let's say, center reply activity. And you can choose which quality magnet you need, or which, let's say, what properties you would need from a magnet. And then you will get an assumption how this will influence the effectivity of the electromotor you're working with. In parallel, we are also, let's say, trying to develop electromotors that are easy to scrap down, easy to change, to make it even more possible to work with, let's say, recycled parts in the future. Yeah. So just giving Olga. Okay, I have a question on who the end user for this technology could be. For the technology itself, I think it's the whole of the automotive industry that could be interested. Yeah, because magnets, we have a big problem when we talk about magnet production, because everything comes from China or Japan, yeah, or in India or Australia, I think. We have no, or not a big producer of magnets inside of Europe. But we are needing more and more of them because of the transition to electric motors, to, let's say, to a more electric environment in total. So we need more and more magnets, which we do not produce ourselves, so we have to buy it from somewhere else. One step to help with this, let's say, evolution is not to buy, but to recycle. But to recycle a magnet is not an easy part. And this is, let's say, a first step. We have, I think there are 2 recyclers in the whole of Europe that can be named. They're both actually part of EIT Manufacturing, or let's say working with us. One of it is in this project, it's Magneti Ljubljana from Slovenia, which are just building up this technology for this recycled magnets. And the testbed, in the end, will allow, okay, to assess if a recycled magnet will have slightly worse properties, yeah, because it cannot be like a new one. It will every time you will have some, let's say, some waste, let's say, in the process, of course. Yeah. So this is a little bit challenging, but will allow to assess if this reproduced magnet is good enough for your application or is good enough for the efficiency you're looking for. And this is what the testbed will be able to do. And the testbed in itself can then be used by every end user who is interested in using the recycled magnets. Yeah.
For example, service center or just give us an example.
Can I speak?
Also, in the end, yeah, the idea is good. Let's say, to buying the magnets, I think clear everybody is producing. Yeah, could be interesting here. The other thing around is who's going to use the testbed or the virtual testbed in it. I think this is the engineers that are working on the, let's say, making a new electric machine or something like that. Yeah, because they will have to assess, okay, which magnets do I use? Do I buy new ones or do I use the recycled ones? And of course, if the price keeps dropping for the recycled ones, or the price goes up for the ones from bought newly, this will be a question everybody who's making, let's say, motors will have to ask himself.
What about service center after sales centers?
What do you mean?
Car service centers.
You mean after, if they would be interested to buy these magnets or, let's say, service centers? Could be. This depends really on the usage of the electronic motors, because normally a magnet has a pretty long lifetime. To be honest, yeah, of course, there's some time in that he's going out, and therefore we are also trying to change a little bit the design of e-motors, or to check if it's possible to design it easier to change dedicated parts, and then it could be a topic for, let's say, sales centers or after sales centers, yeah, to take a look at that at least, yeah. Okay, thank you very much. If you're really interested, I would like you to approach you and go to Torino. It's a nice city, actually, but the testbed is actually there. And with Santa Reply, we have a good partner here, and the Polytechnic de Torino. They built up a full test rig, not just inside of that project, because, like I said, the funding amount for all of the project is around 5 million. They've spent, I think, 5 to 6 million just on a test rig. One part of it is now part also of this, which is, let's say, the assessment of the effectivity of the motor. But it's planned to just evaluate electric cars. So it's a specific test rig for testing electric cars at the Polytechnic de Torino. So if you want to check the performance of that, that's the place to go actually right now. And we are building it up, and we are happy to show it, because we're pretty proud of it, and actually I would also be. And they're also trying to go for a commercial solution for that, which is actually also in our topic. Yes, it's a testing lab in itself, yeah. The target application for the testbed is, of course, the testing facilities or the development of everything. But let's say the magnets, the recycled magnets are sold, but they are sold by Magneti, and I think they have full booked till next 3 years, I think. Yeah. So another question here. Mm-hmm.
We're financed from the EIT community. And what is the mechanism of the financing for this kind of a project? How is developing? So this two consortia giving some kind of application, and it's how it's functioning like that? How to finance this kind of activity?
So we at EIT Manufacturing, we have a dedicated amount of, let's say, money set up. Just maybe for me for the audience, the repeating question, sorry about it, I just forgot about. It was the question how we fund this project and how people can participate in that. I think those are the two question lines I have to answer right now. So one, of course, we are financially backed by the EU, to be honest, or by the EIT indirectly, the European Institute for Innovation and Technology. And we have dedicated innovation programs where we have some funds to give out, and we are making open calls. Everybody's invited to participate in that, where consortia can come in and take part in our activities. We try to get a little bit into topics, so we have different topics each year. So circular economy, sustainability as a main topic driver, breaking it a little bit down into more details is like, okay, implementing a digital twin model or making something like this. Yeah, this is one of the project possible. And the funding scheme is that we are not funding whole 100% of the project. We are funding a part of the project. This depends a little bit on which innovation call you're looking for. If it's an innovation call out of EIT Manufacturing, or like this one, if it's an EIT community innovation call, then you have maybe a 70% funding. So 70% of the, let's say, of the project is then funded by us. And we actually, it's an open call, it's evaluated by experts. And Christian, you want to come on? And this will then be assessed. So it's the process in itself to be part of that is pretty easy. We have an open call. It opens, the next one opens in February, I think, at EIT Manufacturing, February next year.
Every year, sorry about interrupting, every year the call is repeated.
The call is repeated every year. We are trying to evolve a little bit into a rolling call. So this year we already had 2 calls open for innovation projects. Yeah, so one just closed actually at the 10th of November, so 3 weeks ago was the end of the second call. And the end of the second call now starts also in January with the project. So the evaluation time is pretty short right now.
Second call for this one was in 2002, finishing the end of November.
Yes, and the same actually in March is also starting then at the 1st of 2023. Yes, you find all information on the website. If you have more questions, you can come to me. I will point you to the right direction. Yeah, there's no problem, because this is the question I can talk a half hour on. Yeah, because it's like, but in the end, we are also making matchmaking events, because the consortia have to have a dedicated eligible criteria here. Yeah, so you're not allowed to be just from one country. You have to cross borders. Yeah, because we are looking for a European solution for the European ecosystem, starting and enhancing that in itself. Yeah, so this is what, and there are some more actually. We try to keep it as easy as possible, but sometimes we have to look into. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, and just maybe to complete this for the EIT Manufacturing Innovation Call, we have 1 or 2 year projects. Yeah, so 1 year project can be funded with around 1.3 million, and 2 year project with 2 million budget. Yeah, but total project budget, so 70-30 project funding. Yeah, just to complete that. Yeah. Okay, then thank you much. Now I would say after that much of presentation, we and maybe also I will take a 10-minute break. just to grab a coffee, to drink something. And afterwards, we have another presentation waiting for you from Taylor, which is going to present the Hey initiative, which is a little bit more about education, because as you see, we talked a lot about startups. Now we talked a little bit about innovation. Now we are going to talk a little bit about education and the possibilities here. So see you all in 10 minutes. And till then, thank you. Thank you. So, hello and welcome back actually to our Ukraine Cooperations workshop. I'm happy to have you all back here with me. I hope you enjoyed your short break. Maybe get a coffee, get something to drink. We have one more presentation to go actually before going to the workshops, and sadly closing a little bit of the online session for that. But I would like to invite actually Taylor to present it. She's also sadly not here with us because she has another, let's say, event being held in America. So it's actually pretty early in the morning for her. Hi, Taylor. And she will talk about higher education, the HEY initiative. And Taylor, nice to have you here. And I would say the floor is yours for now.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, I'm sorry that I can't be with you all, but I'm happy to be here virtually. And I will indeed be presenting the HEY initiative. Let me just share my screen. There we are. So as Adrian said, I'm Taylor Hall. I'm working with EIT Manufacturing as the HEY project officer, and I'm here to present to you the HEY Capacity Building Initiative. I have two parts in my presentation. Very briefly, I just have some background. Probably you all know this at this point. And then I'll talk about the call 3 for proposals, which is a funding opportunity open right now, available to all of you. So as we all know, the European Institute of Innovation and Technology is an EU body designed to enhance Europe's ability to innovate. It's very important that in EIT we bring together the three sides of the knowledge triangle, so research and development, business, and education. EIT Manufacturing is currently one of 8 knowledge and innovation communities, KICs, but there's plans to expand, so in the future there may be more. This is a brief policy context to understand how the HEY initiative came to be. We're working under Horizon Europe and the EIT Strategic Innovation Agenda of 2021 to 2027. And under those policies, we hope to raise the bar in education and create systemic impact by engaging higher education institutions, HEIs, HEYs, at an institutional level. So we're looking for a systemic level, institutional level impact. And therefore, HEYs will be empowered to become engines of innovation. So through this policy understanding, the HEY initiative was born, innovation capacity building for higher education. We have several specific objectives, but mainly to note here is that, again, we're hoping to create systemic impact, changing the level of innovation and entrepreneurial capacity at all levels of the education value chain, and bringing together non-partners and partners to collaborate, integrating the knowledge that is already available in the KICs in different HEYs and organizations. How do we do this? Well, so far we're running calls for proposals. We've already launched call 1 and 2, and so they are currently ongoing and running. We have 49 selected ongoing projects involving over 500 organizations and 290 HEIs, higher education institutions, and we span over 38 countries. So you'll see that we're both physically and figuratively quite a broad organization and initiative, very far-reaching. So right now, the call 3 for proposals is open, it's running, and it's available to all of you. So I'd like to introduce the call 3 for proposals and then speak about how you can all apply. The call 3 launched in November, and it's going to close at the end of February 2023. It will fund up to 16 selected projects proposals at up to $750,000 per project. The funding period is 15 months from May 2023, when projects will start, until July 2024. And the focus of this call is deep tech, increasing deep tech talents, and connecting with the Deep Tech Talent Initiative. Call 3 is open to all, including if you are part of call 1 or call 2, cohort 1 or 2 projects. If you are, you can still apply. So usually when we start speaking about this, the first question is, what is deep tech? So deep tech is a classification of an institution or an organization with the expressed objective of providing advanced and emerging technology solutions to deep societal challenges. They present scientific or engineering challenges requiring lengthy research and development and large capital investment before successful commercialization. These are just a few examples of deep tech fields, not at all exhaustive. We have advanced materials and manufacturing, aerospace, artificial intelligence, machine learning, biotechnology, blockchain. Again, you'll see these are all kind of cutting edge technologies, but this list is not at all exhaustive. The Deep Tech Talent Initiative, DTTI, aims to scale at least 1 million people in the next 3 years. So the HEI initiative has partnered with DTTI to help train these 1 million people. So call 3 projects and proposals will need to be focused on deep tech, providing deep tech trainings or other deep tech talent fostering activities. So the call 3 is split into 2 phases. It will be run over the total 15-month period, but we have phase 1 and phase 2. There's a clear distinction between the 2 phases, and continuation from phase 1 to phase 2 is dependent upon reaching a couple conditions. We have some operational conditions to meet, so the approval of some budgets and the governing board decision to continue the HEI initiative. And then we also have project level conditions, so each project will need to meet certain deliverables or tasks that they plan to achieve in phase 1 in order to proceed to phase 2. You can see here a very general overview of the 2 phases. We have phase 1 from May to November 2023, next year, with a max funding up to 350,000. And then phase 2 from January to July 2024 with a max funding of 400,000 euro. Total 15 months and 750,000 euro. Who can apply for this? All of you. First of all, higher education institutions, HEYs, are at the core of this initiative. They're at the heart. What are HEYs? They're nationally recognized institutions which offer tertiary level qualifications with a recognized degree. The applicant or coordinator for a project proposal to the HEY initiative must be a higher education institution. However, we want to integrate all three sides of that knowledge triangle. So an application needs to be submitted by a consortium, a group, and that consortium needs to include at least 4 organizations. There's no maximum number of organizations that can apply to a HEY project consortium. One actor must be the HEY that's applying. Another actor must be from another side of the knowledge triangle. So this could be public or private enterprises, research institutions, public bodies at a local, regional, or national level, or other intermediary organizations. And then anyone from Horizon Europe eligible countries is welcome to apply, and obviously Ukrainian institutions are highly encouraged to apply. We also highly encourage that the consortium composition has a broad geographical scope. So this includes RIS eligible countries, RIS Regional Innovation Scheme hubs. We also encourage consortia to consult with regional and territorial authorities to understand what needs to be done in the local ecosystem. And then again, going back to the systemic level of institute-wide change that we're looking for, we like to see commitment from top management, from faculty and deans or department heads if you're a higher education institution, or from top management if you're an organization such as a business or a research institution. And then across the institutional level as well. So a minimum of 2 faculties or departments within your organization should be involved in the application process. The IVAP is the Innovation Vision Action Plan. It's very synonymous with the application, and it's your long-term vision for the project. So it takes a vision towards 2030. It's your long-term goals. It also lays out how you will meet deliverables in your projects, which milestones you plan to reach, and it's essentially your application. So your application would answer all of those things. It's all in the online platform, and this IVAP is your guiding document for your project. It illustrates how HEIs will integrate and engage and cooperate to strengthening the regional innovation ecosystem. And it's also based on the HE Innovate self-assessment exam. So this is a self-assessment exam designed for higher education institutes, which points out where they can improve, what needs to be done better, but also what they're doing well and what they could build upon. So if you are interested in applying, I highly encourage you to join our Conversation Starter platform. It's a matchmaking and networking tool. It will support you to meet and match with other participants who best fit your project proposal concept, but also to browse and be invited to join other projects or gain new ideas, set up meetings, etc. All of the information that could be useful to you is here. We have the call 3 text, the application portal, as well as the HEY Initiative website and the Deep Tech Talent Initiative website. Please do not hesitate to get in touch if you have any other questions, or email me if you need to chat. You can also email the HEI Initiative email, hei@eitrawmaterials.eu. I hand it back to you, Adrian. Thank you very much.
Hi, Taylor. So just stay with us for 5 minutes. I would have some questions, but first for the audience, do you have some questions to the HEY initiative for now? If you have no, I don't see a question right now, so maybe just let me ask something. I was really wondering, when is the deadline actually for participating in that? Because I didn't see it in the slides. Maybe I just overview it.
Am I still with you, Adrian?
Yes,
can
you're still
hear
with me. I can still hear you.
Okay. Yes, the deadline is February 28th. So the end of February 2023.
Okay, so that's when the proposal has to be hand in. Yeah.
Exactly.
I was just wondering, you're telling about you're looking for consortium out of 4 companies, or let's say 4 organizations. How would an ideal composition look like for you? Just to give a little brief example.
So the consortium needs to have at least one higher education institution and at least one organization from any other knowledge triangle point. So this could be, again, regional actors, it could be businesses, could be research institutions, et cetera, et cetera. I can't say which consortia works best. For some projects, really, it's a small, tight-knit consortia that works best with only 4 organizations. For others, the projects need many more actors, more involvement across a larger region or more organizations. So it really depends on your project, and I encourage you to organize your consortia based on your project.
Also, so let's say it's not dedicated 4, but it can be even more than 4, but at least 4 to be included. Okay.
Exactly.
Thank you very much. And I was also wondering about these 2 phases in between, because you have the phase 1, and then there will be a check if the continuation is going to happen. How will this, let's say go forward, or who will check that? Are we doing that at the EIT Manufacturing? So just also out of curiosity, asking myself.
Yes. So there is the stop-go period is actually built into the timeline for this call, which is really excellent. There's a pause between the phases. So we pause at the end of November 2023, and then we'll restart in January 2024. And during this month and a half, December 2023 to January 2024, both EIT Manufacturing, EIT Raw Materials, and EIT will all coordinate to check whether we've reached project milestones, whether we have the funding approved at an institutional level, so that's EIT level and above. And then we'll get back to the projects before January 15th to say, yes, continue, or we have to fix this XYZ. Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much for all the information. And I don't see any questions actually arising here. So thank you very much for joining us. I think it's pretty early at where you are actually right now. I think you're dialing in from the other side of the world.
New York State, yeah.
In New York State. Okay, so
Yeah.
thank you for getting up early for us and to present the HEY initiative. And I wish you a fruitful day today. I think you will have some things planned. So enjoy the day and see you soon then.
Thanks, you too.
So this was actually our last presentation for today. It was a little bit, let's say, like I already, let's say, said a little bit about education. It's of course not everything we do. We could fill, I think, days and days of projects we are doing or initiatives we have. You see, these were just a few examples, actually just 3 examples out of our portfolio that we have. And what we would like to do, or what I would like to invite you now, is into the workshop sessions. Actually, we prepared 4 dedicated topics, I think, because we have a little bit, let's say, low number of participants. We will just make 2 workshops, one now, then the lunch break, then another workshop. We can even switch in between the topics. Yeah, we prepared topics on innovation and education. I would leave it to, let's say, the participants to decide on what we are going to talk about, directly, also going into details of some of the topics, because we have our own ideas, and inside of these workshops, we want to find out, okay, what is your idea? What do you have? What do you have for pain points? What are your projects you're interested in, or how could an initiative work maybe for you, and how would you like to participate? So this is what the workshop should be about, a little bit, not just, okay, we telling you what we can offer, but also you telling us what you would need from us. And I think this is how cooperation works, and this is how we can proceed in the future and make a successful and collaborative environment to create it. And therefore, thank you very much for, let's say, the participants on the screen for also being here today with us. for now. Also, thank you again for all the presentations, for all the presenters being here, taking your time, and a very big thank you actually also for the organization team doing that. So, being honest, Eva Dagdjevic and Lakshmi Arvind, our communication managers that organized this nice event with us, so all the technical things, also lunch and the coffee breaks and so, and let's say everything else. And of course, Olga from ETA inviting all the people. Yeah, so this is a real force we have here to make an event like that. And so just a real nice thank you from my side for that, and I hope you enjoyed it. And now I would say goodbye to the audience and invite you to the workshop rooms, actually, where also I and Loris will wait there for you, and then we can decide on how we will, let's say, proceed and in which topic we'll go. And if you want to grab a coffee before and bring it to the workshop room, just feel free to do that also, yeah, or something to drink before we start with the workshop, because then it's like 1.5 hours I would like to work concentrated on that. And afterward, we can go into the lunch break and start networking a little bit in between each other. So thank you very much, and see you soon.
Recording stopped.